Hi everybody, got something a little bit different for you today. What you're seeing here is, of course, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and it's the new Vikendi snow map. But if you haven't guessed already, I'm actually playing on a PC. That's right. I got my son Oliver PUBG, so he could install it on his PC, which I'm reliably informed is a GT X1070 graphics card. Does that make sense? Anyway, so it's quite a good one, and we're running PUBG at ultra settings. Now I had a quick go in the training mode just to have a go at mouse and keyboard, but that went disastrously. So he showed me how to use the PlayStation controller instead, and basically you plug it in, you do some stuff on Steam, I think it was, and so I'm actually using the PlayStation controller. And what I'm going to be doing here is I'll upload the entire game. I actually managed to get to second place with 2 kills, a distance kill with Mini 14 and a close-up kill with an UMP. And the biggest problem I had actually with the controls was the fact that I didn't figure out how to change left trigger from tap to aim down sight to hold to aim down sight. So I had to soft aim, which is not something I do very often in the main game. So that gave me a little bit of a grief later on. And funnily enough, actually, if you are thinking about changing from console to PC and are wondering about, you know, the controls, to be honest, I found it really good with the PlayStation controller. Now I'd have to do quite a lot more work with the sensitivity to get it exactly how I like it on console, but it all seemed really good. Even doing the inventory was just like it was on console. Now obviously you could use a mouse and keyboard to do all that stuff, but I think if you've played the console version quite a lot, you get pretty quick at changing things around and putting stuff on your weapons and taking them off, and it worked for me. But you're dying to know, what's the difference? How does it feel between the two? And the biggest difference is the frames per second. The fact that I think this was running uncapped. Now the monitor that I was using this on is 144 hertz monitor, so it's capable of showing up to 144 frames per second. But Oliver was saying that actually the game probably could be running much higher than that, because it was in an uncapped state. Now this probably won't be coming across very well in the video, because I think the video will render at 60 frames a second. So you won't be getting that really incredibly fast frame rate. And what happens with that fast frame rate is the sense of depth, the 3D effect that you get in the game is much more pronounced. Because as you're looking around and moving around, just everything is crisper, and I guess we don't really understand when we're playing on the PlayStation and the Xbox how the lack of frames per second, the slower frames per second, the 30 frames per second and less, breaks the immersion of the game. Whereas when you can have it chugging along at 60 frames a second or 100 frames a second, 144 frames a second, that smoothness makes you feel a lot like you're actually there. On the other side of that, though, the incredible crispness of the game meant that some of the textures and some of the things, when you get up close to them, didn't look as real, because you know, their lack of textures, the lack of detail in them, made you think, oh, that looks a bit naff as well. Whereas I guess with the PlayStation and with the Xbox, you wouldn't get that level of clarity in the whole game anyway. So that was a little bit different as well. The sound sounded a bit crisper as well, maybe on the PC, but we know that the sound on the Xbox and the PlayStation console versions is excellent anyway, in terms of direction and figuring out where you're getting fired from, and that all seemed very good indeed. The overall impression I got from playing this one game is that we're not missing out too much with the PlayStation and the Xbox versions. I mean, I have put thousands of hours into the Xbox version and probably hundreds of hours now into the PlayStation version. They're the OG platforms of those respective PlayStation and Xbox. And although the PC version looks better and the frame rate is much higher, it wasn't that much difference, you know. It still felt like PUBG. It didn't feel like I was playing a completely different game. I felt that probably if I played a few more games and got a little bit more used to the controls and got my controller dialed in with the sensitivity I wanted it to, and with hold to aim down sight, I could very well hold my own, because Oliver brought something important up. He said, you know, you'll find it really difficult because there's no aim assist on the PC. Well, of course, there's no aim assist in the Xbox or the PlayStation version either. You know, and with the hundreds of hours we've put into the game and using a controller with no aim assist, you know, we've all got pretty good, I think, of dealing with that lack of problems. Now, probably means we would be at a massive disadvantage in some of the longer range gunfights, because you can be much more accurate with a mouse. But I'd imagine to start off with, just using a controller could be pretty effective. And I think for lots of things the controller is very good, because all the commands are right there, aren't they, at your fingertips. So I thoroughly enjoyed playing this version of PUBG on this nice high-spec PC that was whizzing along nicely with a massive frame rate. But as I say, at the end I didn't come off it and thinking, oh wow, that is completely different from my PlayStation, my Xbox experience. I came off it thinking, well, it looked better and the frame rate was higher, but it was still the PUBG that I know and love. It wasn't something different indeed. So I guess the question would be, you know, should you upgrade? Is it worth the upgrade from an Xbox or a PlayStation to a PC PUBG? I guess if you've already got the PC, you know, give it a go. And for me, it's all about where are your mates playing, you know, and what do you want to do? You know, if you've got lots of friends who play on Xbox, stay with Xbox. If you've got lots of friends who play on PlayStation, stay with PlayStation. You've got people who play on PC and they're telling you to come over, then think about that. And obviously, you will use that PC for lots of other things as well, not just playing PUBG on it as well. But the difference wasn't enough where I came away from it thinking, right, I need to save up and I need to put a good grand down on a nice gaming PC and monitor. I don't think the difference was that great, although it did look fantastic and those frames per second were really good. So what I'll do is I'll leave you with the whole of the video. Nothing really much happens until the last, well, 5 minutes. In fact, I think probably in the last 10 minutes we're in the Dino Land amusement park, and I'm just sitting inside a concessionary stand, not doing anything. Because actually, what happened was while I was doing the gameplay, I was talking as well, and I thought that the capture software would be capturing my voice as well, but it didn't. So I've got to add it on afterwards, like I have now. But anyway. So the long and short of it is, I thoroughly enjoyed playing on PC. It looks better. The frames per second was fantastic, but I didn't think it was that much different from playing on my PlayStation, on my Xbox. The PlayStation and the Xbox are valid versions of PUBG that are incredibly fun and give you that PUBG feel. Anyway, well, that's enough from me. Put your questions and comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you want to see more of the same, press subscribe. Thank you very much, and I will see you again soon.